Hello guys, Des12530 back again with another video, and today I'll be talking about the Recon class in Operation One Shot One Kill. So, what I'm basically going to be going over is the sniper rifles in general, the class, and two types of setups that I preferably use and switch between on occasion. Mind you, these are not foolproof classes, these are just recommendations from me, as well as the fact that how do I say this? As well as the fact that you guys are going to be seeing me mostly using sniper rifles, some DMR. You guys aren't going to see any gameplay of the second class, because getting gameplay for sniper rifles is a lot, harder, so I didn't want to. I wanted to get at least enough sniper gameplay for you guys to see how I play. But, on to the next part. Throughout this thing, you're going to be seeing me get a few different clips. Mostly using the L105 and the Gold Magnum. You guys might see a tiny bit of Mark 11 in there, which is DMR. So, yeah, time for me to get into this. Okay guys, so the basics of the Recon class is that you are basically a Recon. You have long-range sniper rifles, which also have a really high spotting distance. Well, the spotting distance is different in this game, but it's a lot easier to pick out targets with the high-powered scope. So, that's the basic of what the class is. Now I'm going to go over other basics within the class. So, in terms, this class is your sniper. If you're going to snipe with anything in this game, you're sniping with this class. And the reason why is because even though the DMRs are quite good, they take 3 shots to kill, while sniper rifles all take 1. Mind you, they have to be a headshot, and some sniper rifles won't take 1 shot to the head, but there's only 2 of those in the game. But that's besides the point. But, so the Recon class, what you're going to basically use as is one of 2 ideas. One is going to be sniping, which you guys see me mostly play, and the other is going to be a mix of tactical insertion / spotting, which is what you see me kind of doing here, which is where I'm putting my spawn beacon behind enemy lines to make it so I have teammates that'll spawn there, and as well as the fact that I'm using my C4 to destroy vehicles. Mind you, this vehicle is unoccupied, but I was just like, you know what, it might be 3 points. But of course it wasn't. But either way, the 2 bridges between this are the fact that in the spotting role, a lot of your gadgets switch up compared to if you're going into the more pushy type of style. And one of the main things is for the pushy type of style, which sadly I'm set up for right now, and gadgets wise, normally you don't want to use with snipers. I personally use them with snipers, but that's just because I'm really good with the class. But for like a baseline starter, I would recommend not using my gadget setup. I would recommend using PLD or the MAV and the spawn beacon, which spawn beacon you use on both sides. Like, you always want to have a spawn beacon. That's just like your best gadget in the game. But other than that, next things will be about sniper rifles in general and which snipers I recommend you use, as well as other things. Okay guys, so for the base snipers, you're going to, obviously here I'm using 2 DLC snipers, which you can get, but I'm going to talk about the 2 first sniper rifles you get in the game, just to, alleviate some of this. The first sniper you get is the CSLR4, which is an okay sniper rifle. It's not the worst one in the game. It's definitely one that I would use sometimes, but it's not my favorite. I stopped using it almost immediately because I was not a big fan of it during this procedure, but every once in a while I grab it. My favorite sniper, though, that you use just generally leveling up is going to be the M40A5, and that is the second sniper you unlock. And the reason why is because it's pretty much the most versatile in the game, because it has a decent rate of fire, decent bullet drop, which is really good on sniper rifles, good bullet velocity, good sight attachments, because it starts with the reflex, which is what you guys see. Sorry, not the reflex, the rifle scope. Sorry, which you see me use in all of these sniper rifles, which are base. But that's besides the point. The CLSR4 starts with another one, but that's one of the reasons why I don't like it as much. But either way, so snipers, your baseline ones aren't that good. Your first sniper rifle isn't the greatest, but some people do like it. But the M40A5 is definitely going to be your best bet, and that's going to be the first sniper you unlock after the base one. Okay guys, so next thing I'm going to go over is the DMRs, because they are the weapon you unlock you unlock it while it's progressing the class, and it normally fits very well into this role, as well as engineer, but that's besides the point. So I'm going to go over DMRs real quick to, just tell you guys about the weapons. So, here you go. Okay, so designated marksman rifles are sort of like sniper rifles. There is one sniper rifle that is semi-auto, but all other sniper rifles are bolt action. But that's either way. DMRs are sort of the more spammy semi-autos, as you can see right here, which is where I'm spamming off shots. There normally be 3 shots to kill. The SKS is 3 to 4, but it has a much higher fire rate, so that makes sense. But they're all pretty good and accurate marksman weapons. That's why they're called designated marksman rifles, or DMRs for short. But they're basically what you use when you don't have enough weaponry, like when you don't have the weaponry for medium range, and you don't want to use a carbine. So it's sort of like your sort of bridge weapon between ARs, carbines, and sniper rifles. So I would definitely say use them pretty often on Recon, unless you are sure that you're going to snipe, which is why I was using it there, because Operation Locker is a very close range map. So yeah, so after this section here, I'm going to talk about my favorite class setups, and at the end I'm going to tell you guys my favorite weapons from each category. What DLC weapon I truly love the most. And mind you, there are no DLC no DLC DMRs, which was kind of sad, because I actually wanted a DLC DMR, but, the game's been out for a while, and they never brought it in, so feels kind of sad, but that's not to worry too much. So, yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in a second here, and I'll be telling you guys about my 2 classes. Okay guys, so for the sniper spotter class, this is going to be your main sniping class, as well as your spotting class, obviously, which you do need for one of the DLC assignments, so I will go over that later. But so for this class, you want to use any bolt action rifle. My recommendation would probably be the M40A5 for you guys, obviously, since that was the sniper rifle I recommended earlier. Good pistol, normally the P226 will do just fine, which is the starter pistol. But your 2 gadgets that I recommend, and my field progression, or whatever you want to call it, is the field progression, or whatever you want to call it, is the sniper, because that makes it so you can hold your breath longer, you're going to be spotting targets for much longer, and you're going to be spotted less, as well as you're just going to be a bit, harder to spot. As for your gadgets, I recommend using the PLD or MAV, which the MAV you unlock later, but The PLD is basically one of your starting gadgets. It's a thermal binoculars, which can also lock onto enemy aircraft and ground craft to laser designate them. Which, if you guys don't know, that basically just means that anything that like rocket launchers and stuff like that, they can lock on to laser designated targets, and they'll deal more damage most of the time, and they will also well, they'll lock onto the target when they normally can't. So it's helpful sometimes, sometimes it's not. It's more of a opportunity or who's on your team type deal. But the MAV is a remote controlled drone which can destroy gadgets as well as just give you, some aerial maneuver. If you guys have China Rising, I would also recommend trying out the Suave, which is basically just a little paper airplane that you can chuck around and control. You can roadkill people with it, as well as do the same thing as the PLD, which is just, target stuff, I guess. But the other gadget I would recommend is the spawn beacon, just to, if you get pushed if you die up in your high advantage point, then you can respawn back on it using the beacon. And that's going to be my base tips for, my base loadout for Sniper Spotter. Base tips will to be, get yourself into power positions. Like, right there, I had a really good spot. I did get killed way in the end, but it was still a really good spot. And those are the kind of spots you want to look for. Spots where necessarily not everyone's going to be able to shoot at you, but you're going to be able to shoot at them. And as well as the fact, where you can move around and take different positions, but you can still, fire on them. So I'm going to talk about something else real quick in light of that, and that is that power positions are few and far between. It all depends on the map and who's playing, so I'll just recommend you guys, figure out what's flowing through your match, figure out where people are going, and find a spot that allows you to look over the area without getting shot at yourself very much, or only get shot at by other snipers, which is almost guaranteed to happen. And oh my god, the same. But other than that, guys, that's all I have for Sniper Spotter. I'm going to move on to my second class, which is going to be called Tactical Insertion and Attack. Okay guys, so this is going to be the Tactical Insertion / Stealth class, and this class is going to be based on you getting behind enemy lines, or at least close to the fight, but using your spawn beacon and your C4 to not only destroy vehicles, but also to allow your teammates to spawn in, even if you die in the process. So I have two different versions, and one of them you can actually use, one of the weapons I recommend using, you can use for the sniper loadout as well, if you need to be if you want to be a bit more close, and that is the Mark 11 DMR. And the reason why I would recommend that is because it's a really good DMR, and well, it's also one of the highly customizable ones, so you'll get it really early on, and the RFB is kind of a weak weapon, so as soon as you guys unlock the Mark 11, I recommend using that if you want to use the DMR option. As for the other main weapon of this class, I would recommend using the AK-5C carbine. If you guys don't know what the AK-5C does, it is a carbine, the first one you unlock actually, and what it does is it's pretty much the most versatile carbine in the game. It does pretty good damage, has a really fast, well, not really fast, but a fast to moderate rate of fire, has good recoil, decent accuracy, well, one of the best accuracies for a DMR, does average damage for the class, and has an average spread. So overall, it's pretty much just a really versatile weapon. The only gripe I can say is get 10 kills with the weapon as quickly as possible. Because if you guys don't know, the weapon has really bad iron sights to most people. So I would recommend getting red dot as soon as possible, which is literally just 10 kills. So as soon as you get 10 kills, you can hop into the battlefield thinking that you're actually going to be really good with it. If not that weapon, I would recommend using the MTAR-21 if you guys have the DLC weapons. It fires a bit faster, reloads a bit slower, but it's just a melt machine. Back on topic, this loadout is basically meant to get into the enemies, get into the enemies' faces, push them back, and then use your spawn beacon to allow people to spawn in, as well as if vehicles come by, you can use your 3 C4s to blow them up. Obviously for gadgets, I would use spawn beacon and C4. Your other gadget, your field upgrade you want to use is the Spec Ops. And the reason why that is because not only does it give you stealth, which makes it so you can't be spotted on tugs, which is a motion sensor, and Mavs, which are obviously the drone thing. You can't be spotted by those unless you're sprinting, as well as the fact that it increases your C4 count and gives you a less time while spotted. So they're all really good perks for the game. Well, for that sort of playstyle. So that would be my more aggressive recon. And if you guys really do want to switch up that sort of playstyle, my only recommendation to change it would be if you really want. On infantry only map, I would say swap out spawn beacon for motion sensor grenades, which you guys don't know what they do. They're basically like the tugs, where it's it's a little motion sensor that spots enemies every few seconds within like a small radius. You get 3 of them, and they pulse twice or 3 times, I believe, before detonating. Mind you, they don't do that. They don't do barely any damage. I think they do like 1 damage at most to some people, and that's if you hit them with it. So they have like no explosion damage. But they're just good if you want to chuck them into a clustered room, such as like if you're playing Operation Locker and you throw it into one of the hallways. So that's the basics for the 2 classes I have recommended to you guys. So now I'm going to talk about my favorite weapons in the class and what I'm enjoying right now. So I'll be back in a few seconds, and I'll be seeing you. Okay guys, so I'm going to talk about my 2 favorite DMRs in the game. Mind you, I don't have one of them unlocked yet, but I'm just going to say this out of the gates. And my 3 favorite sniper rifles for early game. So, my 2 favorite DMRs are the Mark 11 and the SKS, which are unlocked right after each other. The Mark 11, then the SKS. The SKS is a bit more spammy. It has the highest rate of fire in class, but it has a lower damage or range. But overall, it's just a really good close to medium range weapon, and it's a bit better if somebody tries pushing you too fast. So it's definitely a better like close-ish range weapon, which is what I like about the gun. As for the Mark 11, it's just a solid weapon, as I've already said. For sniper rifles, my favorites as of this moment are the M40A5, the Gold Magnum, and the L115. So, in a sense, this is what I'm going to say. The Gold Magnum is just an overall an amazing weapon. It fires quite fast. It hits pretty much on average, but it has a fast bullet time, decent bullet velocity. It's pretty much just your average weapon, except that's got a bit fires a bit faster than normal. And the L115, the reason why I love it, even though it's a DLC weapon, so both those are DLC weapons, so just mind that. The L115, it has pretty low bullet drop, and I just love the bullet velocity on it. So I'll just say this, guys. Out of my recommendation, I like the L115 a bit better at range and like hitting moving targets, but the Gold Magnum is probably the best for taking out multiple enemies at once. The M40A5 is basically just a both of them mixed together and basically smushed together. So, you know, just pretty much the most average weapon in the class, which is why I like it, because almost anybody can use it. So either way, guys, we're coming up towards the end of the gameplay, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I'll probably be seeing you all either tomorrow or somewhere else. So yeah, I'll be seeing you all later.